Hi YouTubers, okay, this is another of the Figures for 100 books, and I'm a different location. I'm in Malta. I fly back today, but I took two books with me because Malta, a great country, long bus journeys. Honestly, to get to Gozo, the Gozo ferry from my hotel's over an hour each way, so worth it though. Gozo's lovely. Went there yesterday. Malta is an amazing country, and I do recommend it. So two books with me, have to do Physics by 100 books, and so I thought I reviewed them before I went home today because I don't want to carry them, you know. So, first one up. Christina Courtenay, The Gilded Fan. I read a blurb on the back. How do you start a new life, leaving behind all you love? It's 1641, and when Midori Casimiro, the orphan daughter of a warlord, is told she has to flee Japan or die, she has no choice but to flee to England. Midori is trained in the arts of war, but is that enough to help her survive a journey with a lecherous crew and an attractive captain she doesn't trust? Having come to Nagasaki to trade, the last thing Captain Nico Norda wants is a female passenger, especially a beautiful one. How can he protect her from his crew when he can't keep his own eyes off her? During their journey, Nico and Midori form a tentative bond, but both have secrets in England that can change everything. When they arrive, a civil war is brewing, and only by standing together can they hope to survive. So, a Eurasian woman in 1641, which, okay, I've got to admit, when the original traders, like books by like some William Adams, and well, they settled and they married and they gave birth to Japanese European children, and then the shogunate later on basically kind of purged them from existence when the country was closed off until 1854. So 1851, I believe, when Colonel Perry arrived with cannons and said, "Open up now." Not as eloquently put as I could, but hey, interesting story. Very interesting story. It's I've got to admit, I've never read a book like this before, because you've got a Eurasian woman having to leave Japan, request of her half-brother Ichiro, who loved her deeply. There was not one of them kind of relationships where they're antagonistic. These siblings generally do love each other, and she has to leave for her safety, which is quite difficult for Ichiro, because that means he's never going to see his sister ever again, or possibility. And then you also have Nico, who is the brash, kind of arrogant, hides it well his true emotions, captain of a ship. And this book uses dialogue I would not have expected in a book set in the 17th century. Like, Nicholas admired her posterior kind of thing. Okay, fine, Nico, whatever, but I've got to confess about, sorry, I've got to confess about Courtney Christian. She's the first author I've ever read who has taken the expelling of the Japanese, say the Europeans, from Japan, and the British Civil War, and pushed them together. I've never read that, and I thought it was really, really interesting. However, this book takes a really long time to get going. It's nice that she's Christina's setting up the scene quite well. She's setting up Japan and the politics and the mentality. It takes until, I think, page 71 until they even leave Japan, which felt, I knew she was leaving. It's kind of like get it going, but she has to meet with Nico. She has to arrange, the passage. She has to bring her stuff on board. She has to be betrayed and wound up in prison. Then the ninja, the samurai, they have to actually rescue her. So yeah, she's rescued by the ninja. Yeah, so it takes a bit of a while. However, I like the way she describes Japan. It's beautifully and vividly described. So, but it's quite funny how everyone wants Midori. Now, it's quite funny, due to her mixed heritage, her hair's too curly, her eyes are too green, which is quite an unusual trait in Japanese society. Her hair's more auburn and black or brown, and no one wants to marry her. No one wants to marry her at all. She's very, very young, but she's on a scrap heap, okay? Virtually every single man in this book lusts after her, and there's this one guy, I swear to God, I'll start to roll my eyes after the second time. His name's Baker. 3 times he tries to rape her. First one on the deck, okay, he assaults her before she even knew who he was. She fights him off, okay. On the ship, okay, Midori's given this guard, a young guy, okay, and Baker knocks him out and basically tries to rape Midori in her own cabin, okay. He's flogged or whatever. The third time in Amsterdam, he grabs her, drugs her with opium and tries to rape her. I'm like, for God's sake, this is just ridiculous. First time you would have killed this bastard. You know, you sit there thinking, let's kill this guy. You know, there's some characters in books, Baker, he's such a bad one, that you're thinking, everyone could see this. Why are you keeping this guy alive? When it's finally gone, I was like, yay, thank you. However, when Midori goes to England, now this is interesting. I'll read this. Now, her family are very puritanical, live in Plymouth, okay? And she's like Cinderella. Both Nico and Midori have this thing in common. They've got Cinderella circumstances, okay? So, I love this. You have a strange name, Aunt Hesketh commented, with a paused mouth. Couldn't your mother find a Christian one to her liking? Midori stared at the woman, surprised at her rudeness. I believe my father chose my name. I have green eyes, which is unusual in his country. And Midori means green. There's nothing strange about it where I come from. You should have a proper name, like Mary, for instance. Aunt Hesketh insisted. If you don't mind, I'd rather keep my own. Midori felt very strongly about that, and she knew instinctively, if she gave in to her aunt on this point, she may be giving up a lot more than her name. It's that kind of thing. They are total hypocrites. Midori cannot wear a kimono. She has to wear the puritanical corset and lace and, you know, roughness and be sweltering instead of being in silk. They throw a tantrum because she gives her cousin Temperance, who's about 14, a fan. It's a simple fan, okay? Because it's gaudy and it's too much. They are puritanical. And Aunt Hesketh, she's such a bitch of a character. She absolutely bullies Midori. But Midori does find some allies with her cousin Daniel, because Midori, I love this, spoiler territory here. Midori teaches him to fight. Which I've watched just a vision of a Japanese woman in kind of like stylized garb, if you will, on a hilltop in Plymouth in the 17th century, teaching her teenage cousin to fight because the Civil War. I gotta admit, never ever imagine that. What I liked about this book though is both characters are very, very tenacious. They've really had to fight for what they have in life. But they're both so stubborn and pig-headed. I mean, it's one of these books where if they just sat down and talked and communicated, the last 100 pages wouldn't be there. However, just the idea of a Eurasian woman in the Civil War battle, that's kind of hysterical to me, okay? A good example there with the writing is, let's take it back, because I did actually put a post-it note here. I did read my notes last night. She opened the door and there he was, as if he conjured by her thoughts. He looked enormous in the low-ceilinged corridor, and Midori couldn't suppress a sudden shiver of fear which slithered down her back. He stared at her for a moment, which made her and she couldn't read the expressions in his eyes. This made her more anxious. Was he dangerous? Could she trust him? She remembered the strange exchange of smiles between the Chiro and the captain, and wished now that she had had time to ask her brother about it. It would seem Chiro had given the captain his seal of approval, but why? So Midori is very much definitely ahead of her time, but at the time she's still the daughter of a daimyo and she's still a woman in the 17th century. So, you know, it can't go too over the top, if you will, okay? But as books go, yeah, I've read this on the plane here and I generally enjoyed it. I read the whole thing in 3 hours, so that says something about Christina Courtenay. So, do you recommend this book? It's quite funny though. When I was reading it, talking about her mother who ran away from Plymouth and sneaked onto a ship and wound up in Japan, okay, pretending to be a boy. I was sort of thinking, oh my God, I want a prequel to this. Turns out there is one. I just didn't know. It's called A Scarlet Kimono, from the mother's point of view, and it's here we go. I'll read the prequel because it sounds good. England 1611, and young Hannah Marston envies her brother's adventurous life. But when she stays away on the merchant ship, her powers of endurance are stretched to their limit. Then they reach Japan, and all her suffering seems worthwhile until she is abducted by a Turo Kashimero's warriors. I'm gonna try that one down. It looks interesting. So, Christina Courtenay, congratulations! I enjoyed your book. It's the first author I've ever read to put samurai and Japan and the Civil War together. So kudos. Sign off here, YouTubers. It's Physics 5100 Books, and bye now.